What's going on, guys? It's Cliffy here. This is our final group stage of the Brisbane, I think it's the Brisbane Sevens, Australian Sevens, one of the two. And today, basically, we almost need a win to guarantee ourselves a place in the semi-finals, quarterfinals, whatever you want to say. This pool, very, very close. At the moment, I believe two teams, myself, I'm not sure if it's American Samoa or one of the other teams, currently on... I think it must be American Samoa. Currently both on 6 points. So a win here today would see whoever go top of the table. But then the other interesting thing is that the other two teams are both on 4 points. So technically we could lose this game. And then depending on the other result, we could technically not even make the top two in the group. So we need to make sure we do get the victory here today, because it is vitally important that we finish top of the group. Don't tell me DJ Forbes is going to get that. The man is an absolute machine. He's missed it there, though. And another kick, which actually is a very good one, down towards, or just past the halfway line into the All Blacks Sevens side of touch. And we will definitely take that and hopefully give ourselves a good counter-attacking opportunity from inside our own half. But we will still be able to give it a good run. I mean, that is definitely what we like to do. See, just like this. He's going to go in the corner. Pass me the ball. I want the try. Oh, I might have stuffed it up. Oh! But what a finish from Cliff. Being a bit greedy, asking for the ball to go and nab that try himself. And then just the acrobatic finish. That's something you would see in the NRL on the weekend. Not the case. Cliffy grabs his first try. Declan O'Donnell, we can just guarantee we may as well skip this out. He is not going to make the conversion. Again, you could almost have a set of posts beside the posts, like they do in AFL, and he still would have missed. He wouldn't have even got the one-pointer, but that's all right. New Zealand grab an early lead against America Samoa. And as I said, this is quite a crucial game for us. If we do want to manage to try and finish, as I said, inside that top two, then we are definitely going to have to make sure we get the win. And we've got off to almost the perfect start. Another try. DJ Forbes this time dotting down. And all of a sudden, it was very close in the first 2 minutes. Since then, we have gone and scored 2 tries. Declan, this one's a little bit closer for you, mate. Can you get it a little... Oh, I was going to say it gets a little bit closer to the post. Actually hits them. So we would have got the 1 point in the AFL. But not in Rugby Sevens or Rugby Union, in fact, whatsoever. So 10-0 after 3 minutes. And that is a perfect way to start off. That's exactly what we wanted to do. We want to get those points on the board early, which is what we've done. And I'm not even too sure, because Sevens has I wouldn't say a funny way of doing the positions, but I thought that I was a first 5'8", but I think I play more of like a sweeper fullback role, but I thought that was Declan O'Donnell's role. So at the end of the day, I don't even know what's going on. I'm just going to stay back here and continue to make some tackles. That is a knock-on. I thought we're playing American Samoa, not just Samoa. I don't know. We're playing one of the two. I think it is just normal Samoa. Pass. Don't know. Not sure. But anyway, we've got a scrum. Good position. Over halfway through the first half now, so we do still have plenty of time. And come second half, I will actually talk a little bit about the results from the weekend in the Investec Rugby Championship, along with the future fixtures in that there, because from memory, when you guys get in this video, I don't think there are actually games this weekend. I think everyone does actually have the week off. Oh, I thought he was going to make it, but he's been chopped down by someone. I'm not too sure who it was that got back and made the tackle. But what a tackle it was, and great covering defence by the All Black Sevens there to go and pick it up just like that. The one thing I don't like about lineouts, especially in Sevens, is that it just doesn't give you the opportunity. Oh, Cliff, you've spilt it! You bloody egg, mate! Oh my goodness! Cliffy, what are you doing? What have you done? You have almost gifted Samoa a try here. They should get something. They're still playing under advantage because we tried to kick the ball before we had even caught it. It's been towed ahead, but it is going to be brought back for the scrum. So pressure's still on New Zealand here to go and try and withstand the Samoan wave. And wow, pressure on. Just over a minute left in the first half. And I think if Samoa can get on the board here, it's going to definitely make things very interesting. Oh, Cliff, love your work. Absolutely love your work. You've made a mistake just before. You've gone, you've cleaned it up and sorted it out. That is exactly what we like to see. We're just going to boot this downfield because I've got some kicking meters to get. And I may actually, I was going to say even win this race, but then I didn't realise it was another guy there. But one of our players, one of our teammates is actually, oh my goodness. Why didn't he just dive on the ball in the first place? And we would have had our third try of the game. But no, he's decided to go try and pick it up and put it down. So it's gone dead. So we miss out on another try. Still 10-0. And probably just going to try and hold on to this until the half-time hooter. But instead, we're just going to go run through 3 players and dot it down for a try right on the stroke of half-time. What a run from Cliff. Picks up his second try of the game. We went through about 3 or 4 Samoan defenders to go and pick up that try. So that is a perfect try. And Declan has, oh my goodness, he's made a kick. He has made the conversion. So 17-0 heading into half-time. Territory has been all New Zealand in this first half. Possession pretty even, but majority of the game has been played down in the Samoans' half of the field. We want to try and keep that up for the second half. As I said, 17-0. It's still not out of it. That is basically, well, it is only 3 tries. And in sevens, we know how easy tries can come about. You know, they can be scored very, very quickly. What a break. Oh, Cliff, you've given it away again. That's another error, mate. Another error for the game. Anyway, back to, I guess, these games. The games that we do want to hear about in the Rugby Championship. Now, I don't know exact scores because I didn't think I was going to do this video today, but just wanted to go and try and get it done because I have been very busy lately and just wanted to get things sorted. So, I'm going to start off first with New Zealand taking on Australia. See, just like that. A try. It's so easy. It is so easy to score tries in sevens. You can do it just like that. Picked up off the back of the ruck and puts it under the post. But the first game, New Zealand taking on Australia. The reverse of obviously last week's game where the New Zealanders thumped the Australians over there in Australia. Slightly closer this week, but still a very, very good solid performance. I don't think the Australians actually got a try. I think it was 29-9. As I said, I'm not 100% sure on the results. I do apologise. But I do believe it was somewhere around that 29-9. So still a good victory for the All Blacks. Obviously, defensively more than anything. To keep a team tryless when it comes to Test rugby is no easy feat. And that has gone and been done by the All Blacks. They almost did it 2 weeks in a row. It was only a very late try to Nick Phipps, who I guess saved Australian blushers. I thought we'd actually gone and cut him off there. I thought we got our angles right, but not the case. And just like that, as I said, you can't take anything for granted. All of a sudden, we're only up by 7 now. So we're only up by a converted try. It's only been 2 minutes in the first half. American Samoa have come back with a hiss and a roar. But anyway, New Zealand picking up that win. So that means after 2 games, they are the only unbeaten team left in the competition, which is good news for them, not so good news for all the other teams. Argentina, I believe, got up in a very close one against South Africa. Both the games between Argentina and South Africa this season have been very close, and I guess that's just a testament to Argentinian rugby as of late. I mean, you know, you go back, what, maybe 10, 12 years, Argentina were a team in rugby that, you know, they weren't really heard of. They were a minnow. They weren't doing much. You go back now, you know, they've picked up wins, obviously, against Argentina. They've made a World Cup semi-final. I think they finished 4th in the World Cup last year, losing to South Africa in the 3rd and 4th playoff game. But, you know, you wouldn't imagine it. And it's the same as Japan. Japan are one of those teams that I think, you know, you go back 12 years, New Zealand put 100 points on them in the World Cup. And, you know, you go back now, and 1 year ago, they beat South Africa in a group stage game of the Rugby World Cup. So, you know, you need those teams. You need these smaller teams to get this exposure, you know, against the bigger sides. And that's what Argentina have done very well. And it is very good, I guess, to SANZAAR, the South African, New Zealand and Australian rugby unions, for allowing Argentina to take part, to join an expanded competition with themselves, because it is beneficial for not only for those three teams that I've just mentioned, very beneficial for Argentina, don't get me wrong, but also very beneficial for New Zealand, Australia and South Africa, because it does mean they have another team that they can play against. It means their international window is a little bit longer, and it also means that they are getting some close games. I mean, Argentina, you look back when they first joined the Rugby Championship, you wouldn't have betted on them, winning games. You think there would be guys, there'd be the whipping boys that were in there getting whipped every week, but not the case. They picked up a win against South Africa. As I said, that gives them a win, gives South Africa a win. South Africa had a very, I wouldn't say a lucky win in week 1 of the Rugby Championship, but they did pick up a very close one. I think it was a 78th minute try and conversion that got them up by 7. So, I mean, that shows you how close the game was, that it went down to the final 2 minutes, and South Africa managed to scrape out the victory there. Argentina did it this week. They managed to scrape out a victory. Again, I think a very close game. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when, New Zealand and Australia take on these teams, because I think it will give a very good representation of where both teams are at. Not just New Zealand. New Zealand have been very impressive, don't get me wrong, in the Rugby Championship to date so far. But it will be interesting to see how they go up against someone else. I think Australian rugby is not in a great space at the moment. I think they've lost 5 tests on the trot now. Lost 3-0 to England, obviously, earlier in the year in that 3-match series. And now they've lost 2 against New Zealand. So, it will be interesting to see how they go against one of those teams. Well, both of those teams, I guess, more than anything. And same for New Zealand. I mean, New Zealand, South Africa is always a very tough, physical, fierce game. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens there in regards to that. Maybe they'll come with a slightly different approach than the Australians came with. But it will be interesting to see. But anyway, after 2 rounds of Rugby Championship, New Zealand on top. 2 wins from 2. And then I'm not sure about how the makeup of 2, 3, and 4 does look. Obviously, bonus points will be included. I don't think Australia have got any of them, so I'd imagine... no, what am I saying? The other teams don't have 1 and 1 and 1. Argentina and South Africa have 1 and 1. But Australia, obviously, with 0, with no points. So they'll definitely be bottom. And I think South Africa, I believe, would be in second. I think they picked up a bonus point. But then Argentina would have as well, because they only lost by 7. So it's very interesting. So both those teams will be very close at the top of the table. So it'll be very interesting. As I said, don't think there's any games this weekend that I'm recording this video. But next weekend, I think we go and get things started off again. I think New Zealand hosting Argentina and Australia hosting South Africa. But we will have more about that next week. We will be able to go and discuss that. We're going to wrap things up here. Close game. Not Argentina. God, Samoa getting up. They actually won the second half from memory, 2 tries to 1. But New Zealand doing enough in the first half to secure themselves a victory, secure top spot in this group as we move on to the quarterfinals, semi-finals, and grand final of the Australian Sevens. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap things up here. Do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please remember to leave a like. If you are new, please do subscribe. Make sure you check out my Facebook and Twitter links that can be found down below in the description. Hope you're having a good weekend so far. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We've got more Cliffy's Champions League coming your guys' way. Make sure you do not miss that.